Good evening, everyone. This is the 2017 Summer Games Bocce pre-competition webinar. My name is Melissa Kelly, Senior Director of School Sports Program and the venue co-director for Summer Games Bocce venue. This PowerPoint presentation should provide all of the information that is pertinent to the games, so please do listen intently and make meticulous notes. The PowerPoint presentation will be shared via email to everyone in a follow-up, as well as a recording of this session. Once again, advising everyone that you are joining the session in listen-only mode, which means that we will take questions by way of the chat system or by raising your hand, and we'll take those questions at the completion of the presentation. Call in information once again. This evening we will accomplish the following. A welcome, we'll review pertinent information with regard to the games collectively, and then as well move into some competition reminders and notations that are specific to the Bocce venue. Just a reminder on how to ask questions, either by way of the chat system online or raise your hand. And once again, I will mute your line individually. Take the question. Please do identify yourself by name and area county, and then ask your question. And please make sure that any questions are, as we say, good for the group. If there's something specific to your delegation or what have you, that we can take offline, please do so. We are appreciative of everyone's conscientious approach to this and being conscientious of everyone's time. I'm joined my team relevant to competition. Sam Hodap, former staff member, will serve as the co-venue director. Brian Gehring out of Montgomery County, who leads the Tacoma Park Difference Makers. We're very happy to have Brian back for the 4th year. And then as well, Denny Foreman and Luke Corsini will serve as the officials managers. In the coming days, I will contact a coach as well as an athlete to serve on the rules committee, and this would be activated in the instance that we do receive a protest. The Summer Games event guide will be distributed in the coming days. The cover page looks like this, so please do look for that. This is a Reader's Digest version, if you will, of the event guide, and intended for you to have all the information, the very pertinent information that you need in order to properly ready your team members, unified partners and athletes alike, certainly as well families. So please feel free to share the PowerPoint presentation, but do look for the event guide to be distributed in the near future. Locations, we are at Towson University once again this year. We will be on the varsity soccer field for the Bocce venue, so we will drill down to that. There are a few changes with regard to the map, so please do take the time to meticulously review the map, the layout, locations, so especially the added offerings, be it the block party, opening ceremony, where Control Center is, so on and so forth, as well as housing for those of you who will be staying on campus. Swimming will take place at Loyola Blakefield, and another satellite venue is Cockeysville Middle School for softball, so those slides are not relevant to anyone participating in Bocce, but do encourage you, if you are able, to go out and take a look at some of the other sports in action. With regard to the master schedule, if any of you are serving in capacity of head of delegation or assistant head of delegation, registration for delegations is 2 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, and then we will have an HOD meeting immediately after. You want to be sure to know who your head of delegation is so that you can work with him or her directly should you have any questions or concerns that should arise leading up to the games or during the games. We strongly rely on the head of delegation to collect and properly distribute information as she or he sees fit, so that we can narrow our line of communication and be more effective. So please do make sure to make note of that and know their contact information before the games arrive. The master schedule, our first offering directly relevant to the Bocce venue, and I apologize, I did not make this correction here. We will actually be in Unitas Stadium in the room 301, so I'll make that correction on this slide. I made it in one other place, I didn't realize it was here as well. So at 6 p.m. on Friday, June 9th, we will be in room 301 of Unitas Stadium for the coaches meeting. All head coaches are required to attend. If you are unable to attend for whatever reason, please do advise me and your head of delegation, and then make the necessary arrangements to have a proxy attend.
And Melissa, if I can take a couple of these next slides, some things I'd like to point out just to make sure everyone's aware of them, if that's okay.
Please do.
Yeah, and you can head back to that one real quick, the last one. Again, the cheerleading competition is at Towson Center. The one change we're having this year, you'll see family hospitality, which will be inside the Towson Center during the cheerleading competition. After that, we'll see that the family hospitality will be located in Lot 21 at the Towson Center parking area. That will be servicing all competition venues on Towson campus. So there will be one centralized family hospitality area. The other one is we do have a dance demonstration, not to be confused with cheerleading or the dance for all the athletes on Saturday. But during the dinner on Friday night, there will be a dance demonstration located adjacent to the dining hall from 4 to 6. That's dance groups that are made up of athletes, Special Olympics athletes, and some peers of theirs. So it's a cool little thing to check out if you're able to do so. And then we can go to the next slide. Again, just a reminder, all the parade of athletes for the staging will be in Lot 20, similar to past years, at the CQ Arena parking lot. Breakfast has been in the same place the last couple of years, Susquehanna Dining Hall, and then we'll have some buses going off to the off-site venues. You've got the competition schedule, and there, as noted, the family hospitality, one location on Towson campus from 9 to 3 on Saturday. Again, that's in Lot 20. I'm sorry, that should be Lot 21. Towson Center, that's my bad. But again, that's Lot 21 at the Towson Center. Same place where we'll have merchandise. And the big change this year is on Saturday night, the dinner will take place in the Towson Center parking lot. We'll have some entertainment and other things going on at that time, and then we will go into the dance. So don't go to the Susquehanna Dining Hall for dinner on Saturday. Go to the Towson Center parking lot. We'll have the dance and dinner outside, and we're fortunate enough that our development team made a partnership with Famous Days, who will be supplying the food and beverages for the dinner on Saturday night. And also, if you have a chance, go check out the softball home run derby that's noted there at the Towson University Stadium right near Towson Center. The biggest announcement that all the athletes want to know is, what's the theme of the dance? As you can see, from 6 to 9, the Olympic Park, again, that will be outside at Towson Center, Lot 21. The theme is 70s era, and we'll get into a few more details about that down the road. So, and just a reminder, we do have a family reception later that evening. That is for family members of the athletes only. It's a time for them to gather information and do some knowledge sharing. So it's a quiet time for the families to meet with their peers and talk through things there. So, okay, we can hit the next one. Again, on Sunday, get to breakfast, have a good meal for the day, and then off to competition we go. And again, the family hospitality and lot 21 will be open to families on Sunday as well. Just some reminders and some updates. Again, we talked about the Friday dinner, same location as the past University Union in the dining hall. The block party will be in lot 20 behind the CQ Arena on Friday night as years past. Then, moving on to Saturday, we will have the Olympic Park and other activities in lot 21, the same place that dinner will be served on Saturday evening. Again, we'll have some activities there, and that's when we will move on Friday after the block party to start staging athletes for the parade coming in for the opening ceremony. Everyone, please help us in the aspect of keeping everyone in their seats after the opening ceremony has concluded. We will make announcements for the delegations by county or area program to be dismissed in an orderly fashion. So again, hang tight after the opening ceremony until your area or county program is notified for dismissal. Okay, next. Transportation, just a few notes here. Know that all of the buses that will be servicing us at Towson University campus are wheelchair accessible, and they do have lifts. And we will have loops going throughout the campus and also to the off-site venues. And we'll get into some more details on the next few slides. One thing to note there is if you're on campus, if the buses are crowded, you are allowed to stand on the buses while they're driving on campus. If they leave the campus to the off-site venues, you must be in your seats. So again, just some details for the transportation and the loops that will be running on Friday from 8 to 10, where the parking lot areas where all spectators, volunteers, etc. should be parking in lots 13 and 14. That's up on the other side of the stadium. The loop will pick up individuals from that area, come down to the lot 21 for the cheerleading competition, and then that loop will continue to run that evening to the housing facilities, and that will continue until we bring everyone in for the opening ceremony at the CQ Arena and the block party. And then again, those buses will be staged in that lot for the dismissal to take everyone back to their housing facilities after the opening ceremony. And again, when we get into Saturday, again, the loops for the shuttles will be running from the housing facilities up to campus, and they will make drops at each of the competition venues. So they will hit bocce, they'll hit the softball area on site, on campus, and also track and field. So again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail as these slides will be sent out to everyone, as Melissa indicated. Just know that make sure you're getting on the right bus. They will be notified or signified with whether they're going off campus or they're doing the campus loops. But again, the important thing is if you have family members and spectators, as those of you who have been to bocce in the past know, lot 19 is very limited in space for parking. So again, lot 13 and 14 is where we're asking individuals to park. And again, for family members who have mobility challenges, etc., there will be shuttles that will be making the loop from that parking area straight down to track and field and bocce drop-off up to Towson Center and continuing that loop. So they're not going all over campus. It's just going to be going back and forth to service that parking lot and the competition venues. Basically the same thing on Sunday. The one thing we also want to make note of is don't worry if competition gets postponed and is running late. Don't worry. We're in constant communication with the transportation individuals and departments at Towson, and they will no doubt continue to run until everyone from those venues have been picked up and taken back after the competition has concluded. If you have individuals who have mobility challenges, we do also have another system in place. It's more kind of like a taxi for those individuals who may use a wheelchair or walkers, etc. That's the number there. That is a transportation system from Towson University. Just know that you have to give at least 20 minutes in advance of when you want picked up. But again, all the shuttles do have lift systems, so this is just kind of an extra bonus, if you will. We don't anticipate a lot of use, but if the case arises, we want you to have that information as well. Okay, next. Again, like we talked about at the end of opening ceremony, I can't stress it enough. Just hang tight until your program's notified for dismissal. We'll have some entertainment, some other things, music playing, in order to get you back so that you can have a nice evening of rest after the opening and get ready for your competition on Saturday. Again, we talked about the Olympic Park and Victory Dance. Again, here's a little bit more information. The 70s era, we're basically saying bring your best disco or hippie outfits and be ready to boogie down in Towson Center parking lot on Saturday evening. Know we're looking forward to seeing a lot of great costumes out there for athletes, coaches, and partners, etc. So we're looking forward to that. One of the new things we have this year is the Young Athletes Program. That's the abbreviation is YAP. We do have an open house at Towson Center on Saturday from 10 to 1. If you're available, we highly encourage you to take a chance or take a look at that activity. It's going to be an exciting new growing program for Special Olympics Maryland. Again, these are for athletes between the ages of 2 and 6 to get involved and start developing motor skills and activities to get them ready for training and competition as they reach the appropriate age there. Meals, just a reminder, on Friday, lunch will only be served for the delegation members who are actively participating in cheerleading. So you're on your own for lunch on Friday. The dinner we'll have there Friday, talked about the breakfast, and then again in Lot 21 from Famous Dave's, that's where the dinner will be served on Saturday evening. If we do have inclement weather and we have to move inside, we'll move the dance as well as the dinner inside at the Towson Center. There will be some limited vendors for food in that lot. These are approximate prices. We haven't determined those exactly with the vendors, but again, there will be some limited opportunities for individuals to purchase meals in Lot 21 throughout the summer games. The control center, as Melissa mentioned, is in the United Stadium. Most of that will be through your head of delegation. Coaches, etc., can deal with any questions, concerns about competition at the control center at each of the competition sites. The delegation registration, as was said in the master schedule, is Thursday, June 8th. That's when your head delegates will come and pick up all the information to distribute out to all the coaches, etc. And that's also where they will pick up the shirts for all of the delegation members to wear for the opening ceremony parade of athletes. Again, here's the list of the housing facilities. Will be in Towers C and D this year, and then again returning to Towson Run Apartments, and then the other one will be the Douglas housing facility, and those are located and indicated on the map earlier that Melissa shared with everyone. If you have any questions about housing, again, just contact your head of delegation. They've been working with our housing facility individuals and taking care of all of that. So thank you. And back to you, Melissa.
Thank you, Steve. So directly related to the Bocce venue, just to review once more, and I've made the corrections as we have noticed them, so the follow-up email will have the updated PowerPoint presentation, so I apologize for those oversights. So again, Friday, June 9th will be in Johnny Unitas Stadium, room 301, for the coaches meeting at 6 o'clock until 6:30. Once again, head coaches are required to attend. If extenuating circumstances do not allow you to attend, please notify your head of delegation and send a proxy to stand in for you. Other coaches are welcome, but please, we do have bocce being one of our more popular sports. Please do limit that to one additional person for considerations with regard to space. We will host singles competition starting on Saturday at 8 a.m. And that will run until approximately 5 o'clock. We are working to verify the registrations, be it the qualifying scores and such, now, and hope to have that complete within the week so that we can proceed with divisioning and scheduling. So you will receive a match schedule, a tentative match schedule, I'll say, in advance. Please know that relevant as we receive scratches, even on site, that may adjust times by within the hour or so. So please be mindful of that and advise your athletes, your players accordingly, as well as their family members and support persons transporting them there if that is the case. We will hold a stand-up coaches meeting at the venue immediately following the completion of competition. I know this is a hardship for some of the coaches as your competition may end and you're waiting around, but it has deemed the most convenient for the collective masses. So please do make sure that you have a representative at that meeting. We commonly host that at on the field level, just outside of the bracket posting and the medical tent. So please note that that is on your schedule and are expected to have a representative for each delegation. On Sunday, we will have traditional and unified doubles competition. We did not have any registrants for four-person team, so we can expect that on Sunday starting at 8. Moving on. Our general practice with regard to scheduling each of the matches is to start with the women in the morning, right out of the gate, and then have the men start playing the latter part of the morning into the afternoon. So we will continue that practice. And then on Sunday, competition for traditional will begin to start the day, and then we will transition to unified doubles. So once again, when the match schedule is distributed, the times are approximate, and we will very likely have always received scratches even on site. So please do advise the persons responsible for transporting your athletes, if they're staying off campus, of that, and that they should arrive no less than 1 hour than their posted competition time. Courts will be made available starting at 7 a.m. We will reserve at least one court, possibly two, for training of the officials. But courts will be open at 7 a.m. for warm-ups and practice, and then they will close for opening comments and the national anthem at 7:45 and for the start of the day. Please be mindful that we, as Steve stated, we are in constant communication with the different entities on campus. The Towson University staff is immensely supportive, have always been, and they will work with us with regard to meal times and such. So if things run long, which we do not anticipate, but if they do, we will be in touch with the food service staff to let them know and or make accommodations accordingly. Coaches meeting, we covered that. Moving on, the bocce venue should look very familiar as it has in recent years. We will have the awards tent in the upper corridor of the venue, a large shaded tent with the award platforms as well as seating for delegates. We will have 20 courts laid out as displayed in the image. spectator seating, so bleacher seating, as well as open space on the field level for tenting and general seating. Tents are personal tents are to be staked and secured and lowered overnight, and to the discretion of Special Olympics Maryland and Towson University. We do reserve the right to have the tent removed if we deem that it is a safety hazard, or as was the unfortunate case last year, we experienced high winds, so we had to have all of the tents removed. So please be mindful of that and advise your families accordingly. We will impose the restriction line once again for all non-competitors, so that would be coaches, spectators, non-playing athletes, non-playing unified partners. So a restraining line, if you will, is demonstrated with the no coaches past this line image. And then as well, we will have water stations for participants as well as volunteers as noted accordingly. The control tent, it is now will be the central location for announcements as well as conducting all things relevant to competition. So that's more of an FYI, not necessarily anything for you to be directly to engage with anyone necessarily in that area. Myself, Brian, Sam, Denny, Luch, the whole team will be roving continuously throughout the venue. So please, if you have any questions, please simply look for a person with a radio and we will gladly answer any questions. Please do try to streamline your communication, and I'm talking specifically to the head coaches here. We realize that there are a number of delegates or a number of registrants who are under your umbrella of your responsibility. So please do encourage them to communicate directly with you, because if the tournament staff get pulled in many directions and have conversations relevant to things that have already been reviewed, that is ultimately pulling our attention away from the competition at hand and the athlete experience. So please be mindful of that, communicate accordingly in the days leading up to the games, and reinforce that there on site as well. If you have any players who are using a wheelchair or have mobility considerations, we do have a service road, which is noted accordingly. We will gladly allow for vehicles to access this road, make a drop-off for WC, stands for Wheelchair Accessible Entrance, conduct a drop-off there, and then we can, and then the vehicle will have to exit and then park legally otherwise. So no vehicles can be parked or stationary on that service road or illegally parked on campus whatsoever. That is one option. Option two would be to have contact one of us, and we will gladly arrange for a golf cart to pick up either near the awards venue or anywhere of the sort, and then transport the individual as close to their competition court as possible. Moving on. As a reminder, the preseason briefing for Bocce coaches was conducted on March 9th. So please know that the information that was reviewed during that session will govern all of the information, govern all competition. Please do, I've had some questions throughout the season looking for this follow-up email, looking for the supplemental materials and such. So please visit or look for an email from me March 9th. Sent on March 10th at 11:51 a.m. That was sent to all 2016 Bocce coaches, chaperones, and unified partners, as well as the recorded session is available on YouTube. And hopefully the slide, the screenshot of the first slide is does look familiar, and this will also be posted if it isn't already. I apologize, and cannot recall if I posted it on my SOMD, so I'll make sure of that in case you have any in case you want to review the materials. So with that, some points of consideration. In recent years, we did away with a staging tent, so it is the responsibility of the coaches, chaperones, so on and so forth, to ensure that the athletes and fight partners are to their assigned courts at least 10 minutes prior to the start, or to the match start time. Matches for singles and doubles competition will have a predetermined time limit, and the winner will be determined by either the team that earns 12 points or the expiration of the predetermined time limit, whichever occurs first. We are aiming to schedule the matches as we have in years past on the half hour, which would allocate about approximately 25 minutes for each match. We do have a tight schedule, especially on Saturday with singles, so that is subject to change, the time limit that is. So quite simply, look for the match schedule in about a week or so, and we will do our best to get as much playing time as possible for everyone. We will utilize the posted field score clock. This will serve as the common clock for all of the courts. We will have a common start and a common expiration of time. Once again, if a team acquires 12 points before the expiration of time, they are declared the winner. We will update the results boards as results are received. Please know that our diligence to update the posted results, update our own results within the control center, updated the posted results, and then also communicate the results to awards can be quite timely, and we will make every effort to do that. So please be mindful that if there is a lull with posted results. With regard to alternates for doubles, for some delegations, there is the instance in which you have an odd number of athletes or partners. So in this instance, please do designate that odd person as the alternate for doubles. And the 3 requirements or notations to make sure of is that the alternate must be a registered member of the delegation in that event. So they must be registered to traditional doubles or unified doubles and noted as an alternate accordingly. And they must be actively registered in other events within the sport, not as an alternate. So they must be registered for singles as well. If you do have a peculiar situation where someone is simply attending on Sunday as an alternate, which would be exceptionally peculiar, but I guess could be the case, please do work with your GMS manager to make that known to our office or me directly. And then lastly, a single unified partner, athlete or partner may serve as an alternate for multiple teams. So with that, once again, if you have an odd number of athletes or unified partners, please do register them, and you can register them as an alternate for all of your traditional doubles teams or all of your unified partner teams, doubles. They may only serve as an alternate or be activated as an alternate for one doubles team. So be mindful of that as well. In the event that one player from a doubles team is scratched and an alternate is not available, the present person may play minus the existing balls for the absent player. So the example here would be that if player A and player B are paired up and player B is absent, player A may still play. However, she or he will only throw 2 balls and would ultimately forfeit the remaining 2 balls. So it's 2 people against 1. We have found that this is while not a desirable alternative, it is an alternative that will allow for the present player to continue and compete. With regard to equipment, bocce balls will be provided on site. Players are encouraged to use the tournament issued balls. However, use of lighter weight balls by specific athletes will be permitted for the 2017 season and the summer games. The use of lighter weight balls is only applicable to those athletes who have historically used such balls in competition. Please do make sure that you request permission in advance and the accommodation is approved to use the lighter weight balls. These are Nerf-like balls and or alternative. We've had requests otherwise for alternative balls, so please do make that known so we can make the necessary accommodation. And then as well, know that players, regardless if they do have an accommodated ball, they will still be divisioned exclusively. It will be divisioned exclusively by their divisioning score and will not be put in a division with persons using like equipment. With that said, Special Olympics Maryland, we do not maintain an inventory or sufficient inventory of 20 plus bocce ball sets. So we do need to borrow some bocce sets. So if your area county is willing and able to loan these sets to us, please contact me at your soonest opportunity by way of email. A few notations: the regulation set will be composed of 4 green balls, 4 red balls, and then 1 white or yellow polina. It needs to be a high quality regulation poly resin ball, and the diameter is offered in the 3rd bullet point. One last notation, wanted to make sure everyone realizes, scrolling back, that the accommodation for lighter weight balls will be noted on the match schedule, and then as well, very important for everyone who has players using the accommodated balls, that a regulation polina will be used at all times. So at no time will we alter the polina. With regard to awards, awards will be presented at the completion of the competition division. We aim to have, it's worked out quite nicely, no more than 4 teams or people in a division. It works to have a nice advancement bracket. So please do, after your players have played their 2 matches, they can proceed to the awards venue on the upper corridor of the venue. Please do make sure that all of your players are wearing their credentials. We have volunteers who are not familiar with the athletes, don't know them by name, and then as well as you know, may have some athletes with some verbal considerations as well. So please make sure that they are wearing their credential. They are not to wear their credential during competition as a precaution that it would get in the way of their proceedings in the game, but please do have them wear their credential to the awards venue so that we can easily identify them and the awards can be presented in a timely fashion. With regard to some various updates, weather, we're still more than 2 weeks out, so really don't have much of a forecast to provide there. Sunscreen, shade, and tenting concerns. So we'll start with sunscreen. Please know that Special Olympics Maryland will not provide any sunscreen to any delegates whatsoever. So please make the necessary arrangements and strongly encourage you certainly to contact one's parent guardian to ensure medical considerations for application. As it relates to shade and tenting concerns, we are working with our rental company to add some added shade tents on the field level of the venue, so more to come on that. The soonest you would likely be advised of that would likely be on the HOD webinar. If not then quite certainly on site. But please do go ahead and make the necessary arrangements to provide your own tenting and shade. and the added equipment to secure those properly and safely.
And just a note on the tents, unfortunately we had the wind gusts come through last year, so again, at the discretion and for the safety of all involved, at the discretion of Special Olympics Maryland and the Towson University staff, if we declare that it is unsafe to have the pop-up tents in place, please follow our direction. Again, for the safety of everyone involved, if the directive is to take those down, please work with us to get your pop-up tents down. Again, it's for the safety of everyone, and we appreciate you working with us if that situation arises, which hopefully it won't.
Thank you, Steve. Being mindful of our timeline, and we do have our swimming webinar here at 8 p.m. I'm going to move quite hurriedly through the, quite swiftly through the remaining slides, so bear with me. So the rain plan, this is an overview of the typical or historical rain plan, but please do visit or be sure to review that in the event guide upon release. Proper uniforming, once again, please know that long pants or shorts and golf or tennis short style are appropriate. So short shorts are not permitted, nor are jeans or running shorts. Short shorts, by my definition personally, would be 3 inches or more above the kneecap. So please work with your players to make sure that they are properly outfitted. And this does absolutely apply to unified partners as well. So short shorts being, and I'll add that note to this slide, 3 inches or more from the kneecap. A collared shirt is required as well for competition. Players out of uniform or declared to have improper uniforming will be disqualified from competition until the uniform violation is corrected. Footwear, this is, as we've said, the Towson University soccer stadium. So please, we want to make sure that we are mindful and will not inflict any damage whatsoever. So proper footwear is required by all individuals. We do allow for hats. Please know that they need to be free of sponsor and corporate logos for those who are competing. And then players may not use headphones, cell phones, or electronic devices in the competition venue while competing. So please make sure of that and work with us to make sure that that is complied with. And once again, credentials may be worn during competition, but please do advise your players to tuck those into their shirts or give it to the coach or a trusted chaperone or parents during competition. Rules, some reminders. Only competing athletes, unified partners, and designated volunteers are allowed on the courts. Coaches are not permitted on the courts. Once the official match clock has started, no coaching or instructional assistance is permitted. This rule applies to coaches and spectators. Teammates may confer with one another prior to stepping onto the court. Timeouts. We received the request to allow timeouts. As was announced on the preseason webinar, the games management team and the sport management team have decided to uphold the decision to not afford or allow timeouts by any coaches. However, if unanticipated or unless in the instance of illness or injury, which would also include unanticipated or unavoidable delays, if they are lengthy, for example, 2 minutes or more, the officials, managers, or the competition director may add to the official time for the affected court. Competing athletes and unified partners may request measurements. However, coaches, family members, and spectators may not. This is a decision, again, decided on by the sport management team. And was it, in a nutshell, a decision based on with wanting to make sure that play is efficient and fluid and not delayed. As a reminder as well, officials are trained on and asked to practice the proper measuring technique, is to measure from the foremost point of the bocce ball to the middle of the palina. However, coaches, please know that as long as the measuring technique is consistent, the measurement will be taken accordingly. So it's not necessarily the technique, more so the consistency that we are mindful of. I'll leave that for all of you to read on your own with regard to considerations, keeping the venue in the utmost condition. With regard to protests, if there is a protest that needs to be had, you will have protest forms made available to you at the control center. It needs to be submitted within 15 minutes of the match completion, if not sooner. And then we will convene the Sports Rules Committee to hear it and make a ruling. This is a qualifying year for the 2018 USA Games in the sports of track and field, which is athletics, bocce, softball as a traditional team, and swimming. Please know that we make this notation not so much that one, it's a great opportunity, a great event to celebrate, and a great event. However, we fully intend to uphold all of the rules and apply the most intricate supervision and implementation of the rules as we possibly can in each and every year. So you won't see any added restrictions, you won't see any added enforcement. Hopefully you'll see some consistency. We just want to be mindful and share this with you as we can celebrate this election within 1 to 2 weeks of the summer games. So with that, unfortunately, we are drawing to a close. We have about 2 minutes to take any questions. I will take a moment to remind you of who to get in touch with should you have any questions or anything come to mind. So Eastern Maryland, please do email Danielle Weddle, as that position is vacant. Same holds true for Central Maryland for the applicable area counties noted there. Western Maryland, Melissa Enger is your point of contact, and then Baltimore Region Coordinator Ron Freeman is your contact for both the city and the county. I do not see any questions by way of the chat. I do have a question from Len Duffy relevant to young athletes. So Len, I'll follow up with you after the webinar. And then I do need for Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Calvert County, Garrett County, Howard County, Montgomery County, and Prince George's County to please remain on the line so I can talk with them briefly. So with that, I will once again thank everyone for joining us this evening. Thank you for your continued dedication, hard work, expertise, and all that you do for our athletes to offer a viable training and competition opportunity. And we do look forward to seeing you at the games on the weekend of June 9th. Thank you all once again, and please do, as a reminder, a single representative from Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Calvert County, Garrett County, Howard County, Montgomery County, and Prince George's County, please do stay on. Steve, anything before we sign off?
No, again, I just thank everyone, like Melissa said, for what you've done leading up to the culminating event at Summer Games for all the bocce athletes and partners. So thank you for your dedication for the movement, and look forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks.